Welcome to Minutes World. Today we are going to see about the giant panda. The giant panda, also known as the panda bear or simply the panda, is a bear native to south-central China. It is characterized by its bold black and white coat and rotund body. The name giant panda is sometimes used to distinguish it from the red panda, a neighboring mustaloid. Though it belongs to the order Carnivora, the giant panda is a folivore, with bamboo shoots and leaves making up more than 99% of its diet. Giant pandas in the wild will occasionally eat other grasses, wild tubers, or even meat in the form of birds, rodents, or carrion. In captivity, they may receive honey, eggs, fish, yams, shrub leaves, oranges, or bananas along with specially prepared food. The giant panda lives in a few mountain ranges in central China, mainly in Sichuan, but also in neighboring Shaanxi and Gansu. As a result of farming, deforestation, and other development, the giant panda has been driven out of the lowland areas where it once lived, and it is a conservation-reliant vulnerable species. A 2007 report showed 239 pandas living in captivity inside China and another 27 outside the country. As of December 2014, 49 giant pandas lived in captivity outside China, living in 18 zoos in 13 different countries. While population estimates vary, one estimate shows that there are about 1,590 individuals living in the wild, while a 2006 study via DNA analysis estimated that this figure could be as high as 2,000 to 3,000. Some reports also show that the number of giant pandas in the wild is on the rise. In March 2015, conservation news site Mingabe stated that the wild giant panda population had increased by 268, or 16.8%, to 1,864. In 2016, the IUCN reclassified the species from endangered to vulnerable, affirming decade-long efforts to save the panda. In July 2021, Chinese authorities also reclassified the giant panda as vulnerable rather than endangered. While the dragon has often served as China's national symbol, internationally the giant panda has often filled this role. As such, it is becoming widely used within China in international contexts, for example, appearing since 1982 on gold panda bullion coins and is one of the 5 Fuwa mascots of the Beijing Olympics. The giant panda has luxuriant black and white fur. Adults measure around 1.2 to 1.9 meters 3 feet 11 inches to 6 feet 3 inches long, including a tail of about 10 to 15 cm, 4 to 6 in, and 60 to 90 centimeters, 24 to 35 in tall at the shoulder. Males can weigh up to 160 kilograms, 350 pounds. Females, generally 10–20% smaller than males, can weigh as little as 70 kilograms, 150 pounds, but can also weigh up to 125 kilograms, 276 pounds. The average weight for adults is 100 to 115 kilograms, 220 to 254 pounds. For many decades, the precise taxonomic classification of the giant panda was under debate because it shares characteristics with both bears and raccoons. However, molecular studies indicate the giant panda is a true bear, part of the family Ursidae. These studies show it diverged about 19 million years ago from the common ancestor of the Ursidae. It is the most basal member of this family and equidistant from all other extant bear species. The giant panda has been referred to as a living fossil. In the past, pandas were thought to be rare and noble creatures. The Empress Dowager Bo was buried with a panda skull in her vault. The grandson of Emperor Taizong of Tang is said to have given Japan 2 pandas, and a sheet of panda skin is a sign of goodwill. Unlike many other animals in ancient China, pandas were rarely thought to have medical uses. The few known uses include the Sichuan tribal people's use of panda urine to melt accidentally swallowed needles, and the use of panda pelts to control menstruation as described in the Qin Dynasty Encyclopedia Aria. The creature named Mo mentioned in some ancient books has been interpreted as giant panda. The dictionary Shuaowen Jiezi Eastern Ha Dynasty says that the Mo, from Shu, Sichuan, is bear-like, but yellow and black, although the older Arya describes Mo simply as a white leopard. The interpretation of the legendary fierce creature Pixiu as referring to the giant panda is also common. During the reign of the Yongle Emperor early 15th century, his relative from Kafing sent him a captured Zuyu, and another Zuyu was sighted in Shandong. Zuyu is a legendary, righteous animal which, similarly to a Qilin, only appears during the rule of a benevolent and sincere monarch. It is said to be fierce as a tiger, but gentle and strictly vegetarian, and described in some books as a white tiger with black spots. Puzzled about the real zoological identity of the creature captured during the Yongle era, J.J.L. Divendick exclaims, "Can it possibly have been a panda?" Pandas have been kept in zoos as early as the Western Han Dynasty in China, where the writer Sima Zhangru noted that the panda was the most treasured animal in the Emperor's Garden of Exotic Animals in the capital Chang'an, present Xi'an. Not until the 1950s were pandas again recorded to have been exhibited in China's zoos. Chi-Chi at the London Zoo became very popular. This influenced the World Wildlife Fund to use a panda as its symbol. A 2006 New York Times article outlined the economics of keeping pandas, which costs 5 times more than keeping the next most expensive animal, an elephant. American zoos generally pay the Chinese government $1 million a year in fees, as part of a typical 10-year contract. San Diego's contract with China was to expire in 2008, but got a 5-year extension at about half of the previous yearly cost. The last contract, with the Memphis Zoo in Memphis, Tennessee, ended in 2013. Microbes in panda waste are being investigated for their use in creating biofuels from bamboo and other plant materials. The giant panda is a vulnerable species, threatened by continued habitat loss and habitat fragmentation, and by a very low birth rate, both in the wild and in captivity. Its range is currently confined to a small portion on the western edge of its historical range, which stretched through southern and eastern China, northern Myanmar, and northern Vietnam. The giant panda has been a target of poaching by locals since ancient times and by foreigners since it was introduced to the West. Starting in the 1930s, foreigners were unable to poach giant pandas in China because of the Second Sino-Japanese War and the Chinese Civil War, but pandas remained a source of soft furs for the locals. The population boom in China after 1949 created stress on the pandas' habitat, and the subsequent famines led to the increased hunting of wildlife, including pandas. During the Cultural Revolution, all studies and conservation activities on the pandas were stopped. After the Chinese economic reform, demand for panda skins from Hong Kong and Japan led to illegal poaching for the black market, acts generally ignored by the local officials at the time. Thanks for watching, subscribe my channel and share my videos.